In this true crime documentary, we uncover the shocking case of Britney Ujlaky.
She was a real light for change. She was a real light for love. And she was so kind. And kindness is missing in society today.
That was her horse. She had a colt. She named it Chadley. I called it Lil Guy. She actually broke that horse herself without even getting on him.
At what age?
She was 14 at the time she broke him.
That's pretty good.
Put a big bag of grain on his back, walked him around and threw a saddle on. I said, "Don't you dare get on that horse." She said, "Shut up, Dad." Hopped on and said, "Let's go."
On Sunday, March 8, 2020, Jim Ujlaky was at a music band practice with his daughter Britney, who loved joining him during rehearsals. She always enjoyed being there, but in the middle of that moment, her phone started ringing. It was her close friend Bryce, who was on his way to pick her up for a ride around town. She told her father that she would go out with Bryce for a short drive and then head back home. Jim reminded her not to be late and said he would be home by 7:30 that night. However, when Jim returned home, he could not find Britney. He tried calling her, but the phone was already switched off. Worried, he reached out to his ex-wife Alicia, who lived close by, and asked if she had seen Britney, but she had not. That night, they spent hours calling every one of Britney's many friends, hoping someone might know where she had gone. The first call led them back to Bryce, who said he dropped her off at Spring Creek High School, where she was last seen with a tall white man who looked like a cowboy driving an old green Ford F-150. After that, Bryce went home. The next morning, March 9, 2020, Alicia walked into the Elko County Sheriff's Office and filed an official missing person report for her daughter, 16 years old, Gabrielle Ujlaky, or Britney Ujlaky, as everyone in town called her the name she had chosen for herself. From that very moment, the stage was set for one of the strangest and most terrifying crimes in the history of Elko County, Nevada.
Is it son or daughter?
Daughter.
Daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. What is daughter's name?
Brittany, you want to get a picture? Her friend that had her, I talked to him. He dropped her off at the high school down here at 4 o'clock with some guy. And I go, "What guy?" And he goes, "I don't know. She just said my new friend." Tall, white, cowboy-looking guy with a green truck. And now nobody can find her. None of her friends. Her phone's not on.
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Has she ever did this before?
No.
Never done this before?
No. And even when she does go out and do dumb things, we get a call with some crazy kind of an excuse. You know what I mean? Trying to get her out of trouble. Nothing. Not a friend. None of her friends are best friends. Nobody can find her.
Okay. And as you're filling that out, I'll just talk to you a little bit. So yesterday, have you guys tried to call any of her friends or?
Everybody.
Nobody's heard from her?
No.
Okay.
Which is weird. Because she's a social media freak. You know what I mean? She's always talking to people. Well, yesterday and the last few days, we've been in a really good lull. I talked to her FaceTime for an hour at like 1:30. Everything was just fine. Okay. She was just happy-go-lucky. Everything was good.
And all we know is that it was a green truck. We know nothing else about the individual.
No, the boy said it was an ugly green F-150 from the early 2000s.
Is there any other friends that were with Bryce, or it was just Bryce?
It was just Bryce.
And she was with him, and then he dropped her off, and he had no idea who this guy was?
No, and he even said it seemed sketchy. And I'm like, well, why'd you leave her? Why'd you leave her?
At that moment, the officers had nothing more than the description of a truck and a tall white man dressed like a cowboy who Britney was last seen getting into a vehicle with. So they went back to Bryce hoping to gather more details. Bryce explained that after he picked her up, they spent about 3.5 hours together from 1:30 to around 4:30, simply driving around and talking about school. The officer listening was not convinced that two teenagers would just drive aimlessly for hours with no destination.
Ready and stuff. Told me she could meet me at Angel Park because she said her dad was doing band practice. And then went to town. Called her when I got into town on 5th. And then Picked her up at Angel Park, drove around, went up towards Mountain View, asked what she wanted to do. Said she had no idea, said, why don't we just go drive around to Spring Creek since we got more room over there. So we went back over the hill, just started chatting, talked about her finishing school, how school was going for me. Kept driving around, and then we were over in the horse palace section, and my dad called me asking if I could come back home. So I told her I needed to go. Asked her if she wanted me to just drop her back off at Angel Park, and she said that she wanted me to drop her off at the high school to meet her new friend, and said her dad was going to pick her up later. So then came over here, pulled in right over there, gave her a hug and stuff, and then she got out. I pulled out and then started heading that way, and the F-150 was over there, but I didn't know that was where she was going at that time. And then got about right towards where it opens up, and then looked back, and they were both standing outside the truck. And then I got to the turnout right over there by the middle school, and then the F-150 was in motion.
Okay. So you said what was the F-150?
Yeah, it was ones that are really ugly looking, have the side step in them.
Okay. Like that winter green, dark forest green?
Like a dark forest green.
Okay. So you picked her up at 1:30. Where did you guys go? I mean, you said you were with her for how long?
Dropped her off at 4:30, so that's three and a half hours.
I'm sure that you didn't drive around for 3.5 hours, because that's a waste of gas.
No, I drove around for 3.5 hours.
But Bryce insisted that this was something he and Britney often did together. Despite the odd nature of his statement, Britney's family confirmed that it was true, and they never suspected Bryce of any harm since they considered him like an older son, and Britney treated him as if he were her brother. During that same interview, Bryce also revealed that Britney had gotten into a lot of trouble at school over the past year and a half, which was part of the reason she became well known, but it also caused her parents to pull her out of school and continue her education from home. With no other solid leads, the officers turned their attention to the mysterious green Ford. When they questioned Britney's friends, they learned that she had been speaking to a man named JT, who owned a green Ford truck and dressed like a cowboy. Britney was fascinated by him because she considered herself a cowgirl and felt excited whenever she talked to him. The officers immediately began compiling a list of every man named JT who drove a green Ford F-150. Their search produced only 2 men fitting the description, but further investigation showed that neither of them had ever met Britney, and both had solid alibis. With no clear path forward, the investigators had no choice but to circle back to Bryce once more. He admitted that Britney had ongoing conflicts with several students at school. That clue pushed the detectives to dig into her school life. What they discovered was that Britney had a reputation for being outspoken and fearless. She was a true cowgirl in every sense of the word. She never tolerated hypocrisy and stood up even to bullies. Strangely, after many of these confrontations, those same students would often become her friends, and that unusual dynamic helped make her one of the most well-known girls in the school and the community. Yet everyone agreed on one thing: Britney never backed down from a challenge, and she carried a heart that was undeniably brave. As intense as Britney's fights sometimes appeared, everyone knew that with the first genuine attempt at reconciliation, she would forgive and treat the enemies of yesterday as the friends of today. She would even go out of her way to help them, and this was the very reason why all the students loved her and why she was so well known across the town. This realization confirmed to investigators that there was no real hostility between Britney and any of her classmates. While the detectives were still struggling to understand what kind of mystery they were facing, a chilling message arrived on Alicia's phone that same day. Flyers had already been distributed all over the city, announcing that Britney was missing, but this message was different. It was a threat demanding a ransom of $25,000 in exchange for Britney's safe return. Immediately, Alicia contacted the police, and they instructed her not to respond to the kidnappers and to come to the station at once so they could monitor the phone. She handed her phone over to them so that every detail could be reviewed. While search teams made up of neighbors and officers were scouring the city, 2 individuals came across strange tire tracks in the desert, and they decided to follow them.
Yeah, it looks like a chest cavity. The dark. We walked over here on this side. I'm pretty sure that's their drag marks there.
Actually, I'll just get you guys started on a statement so you don't have to linger around out here. How's that? Probably should go down the bottom and come up, because this is probably what we're going to have to work right here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't see any tracks coming in.
It's right. Drag mark right there. We got drag marks right there.
Yeah. Big time drag marks.
Yeah, so let's go down the bottom and come up the bottom of the goal.
Good idea.
A couple pictures from the side.
Light cam too at one point.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. See that?
Yep.
That's not it. Oh, that's a 1092. That's a body.
Yeah.
Let's get out.
Yep.
I can see enough right now. Looks like a girl's hand. Let's back out. Yeah, that's a food.
Yeah.
Hey.
I will. I'm going to get their vehicles out. We'll get the crime scene secured and call stake. Let's go out the same way.
Yep.
When the officers removed the blue tarp that covered the body, they uncovered the lifeless form of a young girl lying face down, her lower garments pulled down to her ankles. The first examination suggested that she had endured a violent assault, and a deep wound to the neck had caused catastrophic bleeding. Only a few steps away from the body, a keychain bearing the name Britney was found entangled in a nearby bush. Investigators discovered a pair of white Apple earphones. In another bush close to the scene, they recovered a used condom. Hours later, during a more extensive search, Britney's broken iPhone XR was located nearly half a mile from where her body had been left. The investigators were now faced with 2 grim certainties. The body was indeed Britney, and she had been brutally assaulted before her death. Although the discovery was devastating, the detectives still carried a fragile sense of optimism, believing that the DNA left on the condom would soon identify the killer. But before they could pursue that lead, they had to confront the most painful duty of all: informing Britney's mother, who remained inside the sheriff's office, unaware of what had been found, and still waiting for updates as her phone data was being analyzed.
I was on the phone, okay, and I just want to let you know that we have found the body.
I'm gonna pass out. Can you get me some help? Can you get me some help?
Yep,
Can you
there's
get
some
me
people.
some-
Okay.
Give me some help. Oh my God, give me some help. We're out. We're out. We're out. We're out. Help me, please.
The lead investigator would later recall that in his 25 years of working homicide cases, he had never heard a scream like the one that came from Britney's mother, and that he would never forget it for the rest of his life. In that moment, the only thought running through the minds of the detectives was that the threatening message Alicia had received was real, and that perhaps they should have advised her to respond at least once. Or so they believed at that time, because the investigation that followed would uncover hidden parts of Britney's life and one of the most brutal betrayals imaginable. On that day, the detective confirmed that the number which texted Britney's mother was a spoofed number from outside Nevada, and most likely he got her number from the flyers that were all over Lake County. By the end of that day, Britney's body had been sent for a full autopsy report, and every piece of evidence collected at the scene was delivered to the crime lab. For the detectives, the 2 most important items were her broken phone and the used condom found near her body. They were clinging to the hope that the DNA inside the condom would finally point to her killer. While investigators were waiting for answers, Britney's father and her younger brother James had just received the devastating confirmation that she had been found dead. James, only a year and a half younger than Britney, was consumed by grief. But through his pain, he remembered something chilling that would shift the course of the case. He told detectives that Britney's ex-boyfriend, who was 2 years older than her, had always treated her poorly, constantly pressuring her for intimacy, which she refused, and that refusal led him to end their relationship. Even after the breakup, he continued to harass her. James recalled one night hearing him angrily tell Britney that he could not wait to see her murdered and left in the desert. James said that memory struck him only after Britney's death, because the description matched exactly how she had been found. He admitted he never mentioned it earlier, because the ex-boyfriend had been out of her life for some time, and he believed the matter was over. Detectives immediately brought the ex-boyfriend in for questioning, and he admitted to making the disturbing comment, but insisted it was nothing more than words said in anger. He claimed that on the night of Britney's murder, he was at work, and when detectives checked the surveillance cameras, they confirmed his alibi beyond doubt. On March 13th, 2 days after Britney's body had been discovered, the results from the crime lab came back. The test showed Britney's DNA on the outside of the condom and a male DNA profile inside. But the shock came when the profile was run through CODIS and no matches were found. This left detectives at a dead end, yet again forcing them to restart the case for a third time, but now with a new strategy. This time, they would strip away all assumptions and focus only on verifiable facts. And their first step was to retrace Britney's movements from the moment she got into Bryce's car until the point she entered the green Ford F-150. When detectives reviewed all the surveillance cameras in the area, one camera clearly showed Britney getting into Bryce's truck exactly as he had described, which initially supported his story. But then the focus shifted to any camera that might reveal a green Ford truck traveling toward Boyd Kennedy, the same road where Britney's body had been discovered. What they found was not a Ford at all. Instead, they saw Bryce's truck passing by the school and heading straight toward the road that later became the crime scene. For investigators, this was a shocking revelation, because from the very first day, Bryce had been leading search parties and presenting himself as a devastated friend, often calling Britney little sis and appearing genuinely broken by her disappearance. Yet the cameras now revealed that it was his truck, not a mysterious green Ford, that was heading toward the location where Britney was left, and investigators never saw any green Ford on that route at all. In that moment, the detectives became certain that Bryce was involved in the crime, but they had no idea that this was only the first piece in a chain of evidence that would erase every doubt. That same day, investigators also recovered Britney's phone data along with a full report of her digital movements. Snapchat memories from Britney's account showed pictures of her with Bryce inside his truck, taken after the time he claimed he had dropped her off. GPS data placed both Bryce and Britney within mere hundreds of feet from the site where her body would later be discovered, and the data showed Bryce returning to Spring Creek about an hour after the last Snapchat image was captured. These two pieces of evidence completely destroyed his story about handing her over to a man named GT. With his lies exposed, the investigators knew their next move was clear. They needed to bring him in and convince him to willingly provide a DNA sample.
Just showing you the door's not locked. You're not locked in here, all right? Like I said, you're not under arrest.
Okay.
At this point, you're not even really a suspect, okay? But like I said, just because of the nature of the investigation, we got to make sure that we do everything super thorough, okay? So I got a little bit of the story as to what your involvement was, but I'm not clear on a lot of things, and I'm just trying to do the best job that I can do. So hopefully you can
ask any question you would like.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much. First and foremost, you're how old?
I'm 18.
Okay. Like I said, you're not under arrest right now. If you think that I'm being an asshole or something like that, you can get and walk out. There are some questions I'm going to ask that you probably be thinking like, what the fuck are you asking that for? But there's a reason, okay? And I'll explain it, all right?
Okay.
And like I said, if you have any questions or if you need to clarify anything that I'm saying, because I want to make sure that we are completely clear on what's being said and how it's being said. So if you need any clarification whatsoever, please let me know.
Okay.
All right. Detective Nelson's here as well. He might have some questions as well, but
okay.
Like I said, right now, as far as we know, you're the only person that saw her alive, or the last person that saw her alive, okay?
Okay.
So she's texting you. Did she text you first? Or sorry, when I say text, Snapchat, did she snap you first?
I was just saying Snapchat, so I could be specific.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I honestly don't remember who texted first.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. And what did she say? Do you remember kind of how the conversation went? Was it? And what I'm getting at is, I mean, are you guys in any type of dating relationship at all?
No.
No. Okay. So it wasn't like, hey, let's go hang out and go party.
No.
Okay. All right. Nothing like that. And so you're heading up to Angel Park, and now when you say you picked her up at Angel Park, I assume drive time from Silver to Angel, roughly 5-10 minutes?
Probably 5.
Maybe
At
5.
max, there wasn't bad traffic that time.
Okay. Okay, so meet her, and now when you say you picked her up at Angel Park, was that at Angel Park?
Yeah, right in the, when I pulled off by a Family Dollar, I don't know the name of that road. She was standing right in the middle of the parking lot on the phone.
At Angel Park?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So she's in the parking lot on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick her up, and what were you driving at that time?
It was my 93 Chevy Silverado.
93 Chevy Silverado?
Yeah.
Okay, what color is that?
I'm slightly roughly colored, but I'm pretty sure it's like really dark blue, but it looks black.
Okay, all right, so darker color.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Did she say anything about anyone that she was having problems with, or any people that she was interested in, or anything like that?
We all knew she was talking to some guy that we think was in New York, but I mean, she'd been talking to him for a while.
Okay.
Besides that, and then, like I told everyone else, a lot of people had problems with Britney, but nothing that we would see with this outcome.
Sure, sure. Well, hopefully, yeah. Okay. And now's not the time to hold back words, man.
Yeah.
Did she have a bad reputation or something like that?
With a lot, because she used to get in a lot of fights, and a lot of people didn't like. Britney was a very straightforward person.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't like that because she was very blunt and honest.
Okay.
So a lot of people disliked her.
They just didn't like how forward she was, and she really didn't hold back, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Is
right.
it primarily females, or male and female?
Male and female. We went through, kind of did like the full circle, went through over by the sports complex in Spring Creek. And then I had to go back home to my dad's house, so I asked her if she wanted me to drop her off back at Angel Park or where her dad was having practice. And then she was on her phone for about 30 seconds-ish, and then asked me if she'd drop her off at the high school to meet her new friend.
Did she give any indication, I'm sorry, of who she may have been talking to or anything like that?
No, she just described a new friend, but also, same thing, Britney was always finding new friends. I mean, she had a new best friend probably about every month or so.
Okay. Kind of explain to me, did you drop her off like right next to his ride, or how did that go down?
I dropped her off right here because I didn't know. I just pulled up to the high school because I didn't know where I was going. And then, so I got right here, and then she grabbed her keys, gave me a hug, said love you, bye, and then got out of the truck, and then, so I pulled it in reverse, started pulling out this way, and then she walked over to that F-150, and then by the time I'd gotten back out and onto the highway, the F-150 was pulling out.
All right, so you basically made a loop then, essentially?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then heading back out towards Maverick. Okay, and so you see the green F-150?
Yeah.
No doubt in your mind, F-150?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what truck it is because, to be bluntly, they're ugly as hell. There's only one truck like that because they have that like bubble shape to them almost.
Okay.
Have you guys ever been into an intimate relationship?
No.
No? Nothing besides hugging and just no kissing or no friends with benefits or nothing like that?
No.
So one of the things that we like to do just to be thorough, man, to make sure that, like I said, we cross all the T's, dot all the I's, is there any reason whatsoever, because obviously in these situations they go full bore, right? Is there any reason whatsoever that they would find your DNA on her or in her?
No, nothing. Besides maybe like a bag of hair or something on her jacket, there would be nothing else.
So no sexual relationship whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Is there anything on your phone that you would be concerned with us finding?
No.
No, okay. Do you have any problem if we take a look at your phone just to make sure that we're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Was there anybody in specific in the school itself that she continually told no, that may have been frustrated with that?
From what I've been told, because she hangs out with a lot of people, but from what I've been told by a lot of people is that she still has yet to have sexual intercourse with anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, that's
Is
respectable.
what I've been told.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's not a girl that's considered easy in high school, and
No.
she told somebody no, and they got frustrated because they were told no.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
She's easy to be friends with, but not to date. No, she's.
Okay. Would you be willing to submit
Thank you.
a buccal swab just for your DNA?
What's a buccal swab?
So it's essentially just 2 Q-tips. You can do it yourself. They're a Q-tip about as long as this pin. You rub it on the inside of your cheek, and then you take the other one and rub the inside of the other cheek. We put it in a box. That way we have your DNA. It's suspected, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was some kind of sexual activity, what they're suspecting.
Okay.
Not saying that you were that person and you have no reason
No,
to
I
have your
understand.
DNA in there, but you were the last person that we know of that was with her when she was alive.
Yeah.
Basically, for you, it'd almost be like an elimination, you know, kind of like, hey, this isn't our dude.
No, I have no problem.
Okay, man. Be right back with you, all right?
All right.
All right.
Bryce agreed to provide a DNA swab without hesitation, fully confident that he was not considered a suspect. But what he did not realize was that by this stage, he had already become the only suspect investigators were focused on. Nearly 6 days later, the results came back, and just as detectives had expected, the DNA profile matched Bryce perfectly. It was present not only inside the condom, but also beneath Britney's fingernails, a sign of her desperate struggle in her final moments. With that confirmation, the case shifted dramatically, and Bryce was summoned once again for questioning. But this time, the tone would be very different, because now the investigators were no longer speaking to a helpful friend. They were confronting the prime suspect in Britney's murder.
You're gonna have to ask a question because that's a lot. Brittany is not in like a bad way or anything, but I mean,
right. Well, what was Brittany to you?
Honestly, Brittany was my little sis. Like, I've known her since 7th or 8th grade. One of the closest people to me. I didn't even start calling her. I called her little sis for about the last 2.5, 3 years, but she called me big brother since probably about right after the first year that I met her, but one of the closest people to me. She was, a lot of people didn't like her for a lot of reasons, but she was very blunt and kept to who she was, even if a lot of people didn't like that. So that was why a lot of people in Spring Creek didn't like her, just because she was extremely honest. No, she was always happy. She would get in a lot of like actual fights, but then a month later she would be best friends with the person she got in a fight with. She knew almost everyone. Seemed like there wasn't somebody in this town she didn't know. But she was extremely sweet. Pretty much always had a smile on her face. I haven't met anybody that's actually like had intentions to hurt Brittany.
One other question. If you could say something to Brittany, what would you say?
Easy. I love you. That'd be the first thing I would say.
What about the second?
No, I'm sorry. Because I kind of blame myself for all this. Even though,
Why do you blame yourself?
I mean, I know that I didn't know what was going to happen, but I mean, I'm the last one that freaking saw her before she's dead. And I mean, her mom even made me promise that I wouldn't blame myself, but kind of still have a lot of regrets and a lot of stuff I wish I would have done differently that day. Because I wish I would have just taken her back to town to her dad. But told her when we got the balloon release was the first time I saw her after it all happened, but I saw her and then we hugged and I said I was sorry and kind of both broke down, and then she made me promise that I wouldn't blame myself, stuff like that, and then the whole family kind of hugged me and just told me that I meant a lot to Brittany and stuff like that, so.
Now, just out of curiosity, and we promise we won't tell your girlfriend, had you ever been intimate with...
I got that question the last 2 times. Brittany and I have never been intimate in any way. I mean, like, a lot of people get the wrong intentions, because, I mean, do it with all my friends, but, like, calling females my female friends love and stuff like that, but that's just kind of the way I was raised in a sense, the grammar wise. But Brittany and I have never had a relationship or have been intimate in any way. That's why my girlfriend was comfortable with her, is because she never flirted with me or anything like that.
Did you ever want to be?
No, not
never.
No, I never had that want or urge or anything. I literally saw Brittany as my little sister.
And is there any way that your DNA could be associated with this case in any way?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I'm kind of confused about a couple things. So round one, you pick her up at Angel Park, and then you come into Boyd Kennedy Road entrance to the school at about what time again?
Around 4:30.
About 4:30. Okay. So we got some surveillance footage from Angel Park. This is the camera, and I know, forgive me for the blurry photo a little bit because we cleaned it out. But down here is the time, and that was 15:20?
Yep.
I don't know what time it is.
3:20.
Oh, okay.
2 hours
military time.
Okay.
2 hours after you said.
Yeah, so it's a little bit later than what you said, so I'm just kind of confused, and I want to clear that up with you a little bit. Because that's her walking across the street, and is that your truck?
Yeah, that looks like my truck.
And there's another picture.
Yeah, no, that's my truck.
That's your truck?
Yeah.
Okay. So that shows about 15:20.
I might be off my timestamps. The only timestamp that I personally have is on my phone of what time I called her when I got on it. So
that's 2 hours.
It's literally the entire time I was with her, I was not on my phone.
Do you see where?
I can see where there could be
make us
concern.
look?
I understand that, sir.
Okay. And the other thing I'm just kind of confused about, okay? And like I said, I just want to clear this up with you. That's all. This is some footage from Maverick across the street. So this is some surveillance footage from the front of the store showing Boyd Kennedy Road. Okay. So if you look right here, you can see. Let me come over here. Sorry. So right over here.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Oh, that's your truck right there. About.
Is it smushed together since it's so far away?
Yeah.
I think so, because
okay.
I have a long day that's on.
Yeah, so this is the Boyd Kennedy Road right here. That's your truck.
Yeah.
That's your truck going down Boyd Kennedy Road.
Entrance to the middle school and stuff is right here. That goes into the parking lot. And then there's the wrestling gym, which is right there. And then it cuts right and goes right to the middle school. Okay. So that's what I went through.
That's not what you said.
No, I said I went through the Boyd entrance. I didn't.
Across from the Maverick.
Yeah.
What if I told you we had surveillance footage that appears your truck kept going out Boyd Kennedy Road?
I didn't go down Boyd Kennedy Road.
I just want to kind of clear everything up and get your explanation for this, okay? Because you seem like a decent guy. We've been sitting here chatting and stuff like that, okay? And I just want to kind of help you through this so that way we can kind of explain this stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So with these, you can kind of see from my perspective when I'm looking at this what that looks like, right?
Yeah. No, I can see 100%.
Okay.
I'm kind of in the middle. I got startled after the third cop I talked to, the one that called me down to the high school, because called me a liar about 3 times and kept asking me if I killed Brittany. So
Somebody asked you if you killed Brittany?
A deputy did.
Oh, okay.
And it honestly startled the shit out of me. And I don't want to. I know I'm only been 18 for a little bit now, but I know I'm 18 now, so even changing a little bit on the story isn't a big thing.
Well, it is what it is. Okay, that's why I'm trying to sort through it. Okay.
Yeah, so when he talked to me, and I went down Boyd a little bit, but not far, and then I took that first left off of the Boyd Kennedy, which goes straight back to the right to the bottom of the trailer section, and then went back to the high school, but being at Boyd Kennedy at the same time, which I'm missing, it worried me because I didn't want him.
So
I lied because I was scared of people thinking it was going to be me, which a lot of people still do.
That's understandable.
You're the last person to see her alive.
Yeah, which honestly scares me, but I see that there's issues with me not telling 100%.
You need to be 100% honest. You need to let everything out.
So when you said you took that first left off of Boyd Kennedy, was Britney in the car with you at that time?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
I kind of have like a set little thing of loops that I do when I get bored driving around Spring Creek. So, and that's one of the ones that I do a lot. And but being so close to being on Boyd Kennedy, and as soon as people were saying that's where she went missing, I kind of got scared.
I have one other concern.
Okay.
Okay. We located some items, or an item. Okay. Do you have any idea what that item might be?
No.
Okay. What if I told you that it had both yours and Britney's DNA on it?
What would that be?
Do you have any idea?
No.
Now's the time to be the truthful.
I'm being 100% sir. I don't know what you're referring to.
Now, you told me before that you and Britney had never been intimate in a sexual way.
No.
Okay. What if I said I had evidence that shows that that might not be accurate either?
I'm not lying. I've never kissed. I've never had sex with Britney. Besides hugging and I've never had sex or any intimate relationship with Britney.
Okay. Have you ever watched TV and seen DNA comparisons?
No. I mean, I've watched crime shows, but haven't really paid attention to it.
So, you gave a DNA sample, right?
Yes.
Okay. We found a condom. All right. And we found Britney. And we have Britney's DNA. Okay. We have your DNA. And we have a condom.
That can't be.
It is.
Okay. I've never had sex with Britney. I swear. I've never had sex with Britney.
Okay. So then explain to me how...
I don't know. I'm freaking out right now because I've never had sex with Britney.
Okay.
I've never had
explain
sex.
to me how a condom has your DNA on the inside and her DNA on the outside. Because that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, and I don't...
And you can understand my concerns that, you know, I've been truthful with you, okay? And I know,
Sure.
I know this is really stressful, okay? I can't imagine where you're at, all right? But we'll get through this together, okay? And I need you to help me help you, all right? And the biggest concern I have is you could see that we have some footage that kind of contradicts what you said.
Yes, sir.
You've got a condom that was recovered near Britney's body. And it has DNA on it with both you and Britney. Okay? And you told me that you guys had never been intimate. All right? There's
Sure.
only one way that DNA could have gotten on that condom that way.
I'm aware of that.
And you have a pattern now of lying. You were deceptive to Detective Fisher because you got scared. You just admitted that.
I admitted I was
And
scared, yes.
your timeline doesn't match up. The other people we've talked to, their stories don't match with yours.
What do you mean they don't match with mine? Am I allowed to ask that or no?
No, absolutely.
No, you can ask.
Yeah, there's just some issues with the time, okay, and things like that. But the thing I'm concerned about right now is if you were in my perspective and you looked at all this, what would you think?
That I did it to Britney.
Okay. If you were me, okay, how would you explain the condom?
I don't know.
If you were me looking at that as a detective, what would you make of it? Okay?
Exactly what you guys are thinking right now.
Okay, because here's the thing. If I don't know what happened, I can't help you out any more past this point. I can't help you figure out the truth. Tell me the truth. Okay? We need to get through this together. And I need to hear from you what happened.
Okay.
Okay?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
You guys trying to get a confession of me killing Britney?
I'm trying to figure out how your DNA got on a condom on the inside that has her DNA on the outside. I need to figure out what happened with that condom.
Our job is to work as hard to prove innocence as it is guilt. If you didn't do this, we'll work to the end of the earth to prove that you didn't do this. Okay. But that requires 100% honesty on your end, because the stuff we have indicates it hasn't been there.
And that's my concern. Is we've got these.
There's a lot of faults in it, and I'm aware. It was extremely odd. Brittany was being literally the only time Brittany was being really flirty for some reason throughout that day. So we kissed, and I had gotten a blowjob, but it was through a condom. But then after I was done, she was the one who took the condom and then thought she threw it out of the truck. And then that's...
Where did that happen at?
That first road all the way down Boyd.
So...
not all the way down Boyd. Thought she just threw it out the window because she was the one who pulled it off. And then, because I had thrown the wrapper and stuff out this driver window, so I thought she just threw out the passenger side window.
So where were you seated in the vehicle while she was giving you the blowjob?
In the driver's seat.
Okay, and where was she at in the vehicle when she was giving you the blowjob?
Kind of like bent over the bench seat in a sense, like kind of just leaning over.
Okay. And that happened about right here?
Yeah.
When I was at the scene with Britney, I found a condom, or one of our people found a condom that was near where Britney was at. And there was also a condom wrapper that was on the roadway as well.
Okay.
And that condom that I told you about was much closer to where Britney was found. And this is not where Britney was found. Okay, I just told you, I just want the truth.
No, I'm telling the truth. That's where it happened.
Where what happened?
Where Brittany and I had, I don't know, does that count as sex? I think
it's a sexual act.
It's a sexual act. So that is where Brittany and I had sex.
Okay.
And then straight after, I went straight to the trailer section, and that was it.
Okay. Did you ever have any sort of intercourse, oral or otherwise, anywhere else with Brittany?
Just the blowjob. That was, besides like 2, maybe 3 kisses, and that was about it, honestly.
Okay.
There wasn't much. It was almost didn't seem real in a sense, because she literally just asked if I wanted a blowjob. It did not quite seem real, almost.
Okay. So with everything we just talked about, if you were me, what would you think about all that?
I think you guys already know what I think you would think.
And what is that?
That I'm lying about everything. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that's what you guys are thinking.
No, I think you're very smart. From the position I sit in, okay, like I said, there's only that one chance that you have with me to tell me the truth. Because so far, you haven't told me the truth. And I think we both know that.
Sure.
Okay. And then the thing I'm concerned about is that everything you've told me just does not add up. Okay?
Okay.
And I think you're very smart. You know that. Okay? So, help me figure out what the truth is. But I need to hear that from you.
So, the, Angel Park timeline, that I didn't actually realize that I had messed up the timeline. That one I'm being 100% on. Cruise driving for a little while longer. And her texting her friend actually did happen, and she asked me to drop her off with somebody, but I don't know who it was. and he actually had met us on Boyd, and I didn't actually meet the guy or anything, but because he met us up here.
Okay.
The I don't know where, somewhere over here is where Brittany and I actually had sex. I literally dropped her off with the guy literally in the middle of the road and drove off, and
it's okay. We'll get through this together. Okay? You and I will get through this together. Alright? So just take a second and then tell me the truth, okay?
Okay. Everything I've told, except mess ups on the timeline, is true. That was the exact same truck that I saw. I honestly couldn't tell you how the gun was that close to Brittany's body. I don't know how that happened, because Brittany was still alive by the time I had dropped her off on the road with whoever the guy was. I just wasn't thinking at all, and I dropped her off and I literally just drove off. I understand that. I know what you're gonna say.
And what am I gonna say?
That you have to know, which you do have to know. But I'm telling you that I literally had never met this guy.
Okay.
Which Brittany gets new friends every month, and I didn't really think much of it.
You've told us several different versions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you really expect me to believe that you met a guy after you guys had sex and you just dropped Brittany off with him and you don't know who that was? You're a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. Okay.
I've met him, but I honestly don't know who he is.
So I need you to be honest with me. When we started out today, I just wanted the truth from you, okay? And then the story changed. The story's changed again. The story's changed again. Okay? I need to get the whole truth, because once that line crosses, we can't go back. And I can't get that truth from you.
Didn't even know the kid was back in town. It was the Chaz Randall kid is the one who picked her up. Which I didn't even know he was back in town. So I swear it was Chaz Randall, because that kid's kind of distinguishable. But
so you're telling me Chaz Randall met you on the road? I told you.
What?
And you've known that Chaz Randall killed Brittany all this time, and you're just waiting to say something? You let yourself be the last person to see her alive? You expect us to believe that I was the last person to see her alive. I've put myself in that position, and I'm going to sit here for a week and a half letting everybody think I was the last one to see her alive when I know who the last person to see her alive is. You think we're going to believe that? You're smarter than that.
Listen, okay? This is... We can't keep coming up with different stories, okay? Because with what you just said, okay, as investigators, we're going to figure out about Chaz.
Yeah.
Okay? And if that's not accurate, where would we end up?
Back to me.
Back to you. You have told a whole bunch of cops a whole bunch of different stories.
I have not told a whole bunch of different stories.
You need to trust me. I want you to trust me, okay?
Okay.
I need to hear the truth. The truth.
I know I'm kind of losing your guys' trust by the second here, and let's just be honest about that. Am I correct? I'm not meaning to stretch on, I'm just asking. But down there I had sex with Britney, and then got done having sex, and then it got really quiet in the truck. It was really awkward, and I think we were both kind of like regretting it in some sort. And she literally just told me to just drop her off, and I didn't know where to drop her off, and she wouldn't tell me anything. And then we got right to the top of the trailer section, right to the houses, and then right up there, and then I said something that pissed her off, and she literally just hopped out of the truck when I was at a stop sign. I was freaking out because I felt like I had ruined a complete friendship over one dumb oral interaction, and then she didn't want to get back in my truck, and so we just sat there literally at a stop sign right off the right where it turns back to pavement in the trailer section, just sat there talking. And then I had told her that I would drop her off somewhere, and I had gotten up there and tried to give her a hug, and she didn't want one, and I was fine with that. I understood. Then we got back in the truck, but then I just kept it in park because I didn't know where the hell I was going, and sat there and both just had steam pouring out of our ears because we were both upset. She just asked me to drop her off at her friend's house in the trailer section. I went down the side of the trailer section around the corner. I pulled up and then asked her again if she just didn't want me to just take her back to Elko, and she said no, it was fine. And then she had told one of her friends about what happened. I just don't know who it was. I dropped her off in the trailer section, and then I drove off pissed off went home, and then sat there, and then when I went back over to my mom's and I got text messages that she was missing and shit, and it freaked me the fuck out because last time I saw Brittany, I was flustered and angry.
I call bullshit.
What?
Listen, okay?
You guys are just looking for a confession.
Listen,
no,
okay?
I'm looking for the facts to match up.
What facts don't match up right now?
Okay, I think you know.
But I don't, I'm lost.
Do you think we've been doing nothing for the last week?
No, I think you guys have been working your asses off.
We've talked to a ton of people. Your name has come up a lot. And the conversations they've had with you, that your stories to us don't match.
And I don't know how that is, because literally everything I told you guys is what I've told everyone.
This is what we're going to do. Okay? We're going to step out of this room one last time. Okay? When I step back in here, I need you to tell me the truth. Okay?
So you're still expecting us to believe that you dropped her off and her body miraculously appeared where the condom and condom were by some strange freak coincidence?
I did not kill Brittany. But imagine being in my position trying to explain this.
Well, we're trying to figure out how she ended up dead. Realize she disappeared on the 8th. You've been sitting on this knowledge without saying anything to anybody?
Because I've had the entire town of Spring Creek asking me if I've killed Brittany.
And you might as well have if you didn't say anything.
So this is the story that you're going to stick with?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, stand up and face that way. Separate your feet and put your hands behind your back.
After his arrest on March 19th, 2020, 11 days after Britney was murdered, Bryce remained behind bars awaiting trial until May 2022. Prosecutors had initially prepared to pursue the death penalty, but after discussions with Britney's family, that option was taken off the table. Following a 9-day trial and 4 hours of jury deliberation, Bryce Edward Dickey was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, with with the possibility of parole after 46 years. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. See you in the next video.